Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chats Unfiltered. And we are so happy to be here, you guys, to share some of our life experiences, Val's and mine. And we will definitely touch on some financial issues sometimes, some just life things that we have experienced that will help with not making the same mistakes that we have made or doing things right the way we've done them. Maybe you made some mistakes and want to know how to fix it. And so we are here to give those stories, sometimes about travel, sometimes about health, sometimes about all kinds of things. Today we have an interesting topic, but first we're going to introduce ourselves. My name is Cynthia Merritt. And I found myself in my 60s, approaching my retirement age and not there yet. However, looking at my finances and saying, ooh, the money's looking funny, honey. So I had to make some changes. And so we're here to tell about some of those changes we've made in that fourth quarter, where you can change the trajectory of the game or life or whatever it is. And my co-host.
Hey guys, I am Valerie Davis and I am here for all of it, every bit of it, because like Cynthia said, had gotten to this point where my money was looking funny, and then it became very disrespectful. The finances became disrespectful. Trying to get things in order became disrespectful. Didn't know what to do, how to do it, where to go, who to talk to, who could help me. So I had to change my thought process and change the way that I wanted to go, the route I wanted to go, needed to go, so that I could have a better life. So I am 53, and I have pretty much, I'm reinventing myself. I've started completely over with everything, and that's a scary thing. So I know it's not just me that have started over at this late in life. I know that there's others. So we have this brilliant show so that we can explain to you guys and you guys explain to us. We talk about our experiences and how it's getting us over, how I got over, hey.
Yes, yes.
So that's
Uh,
what, all right. So let's keep on chatting here. Coffee chat.
Coffee chats.
Mm,
Cheers. Good
mm.
morning, guys. Good. Okay, so today, guys, we're going to talk about parenting, and I do have, and I'm going to tell you this. I did put the PowerPoint slide up big so I can see it. It's staring me right in my face, so I won't forget to show that. I always say I'm going to show it at the end, and I never end up putting it up there, so it's right in my face. Don't let me forget to put it up there, just with the different independent media sites, so people can take a picture of it,
Right.
and the number to call your senators. So, but today, guys, we're talking about parenting adult children as empty nesters. Woo! I love this part of my life, y'all. This is the best time because
Right.
we've done everything that we have done to pour into our children as they are developing and growing up, and the way we want to help them to learn and be able to move through life and navigate this life as adults. And so now we are with our grown children. Our angle has now shifted,
Yes.
and it is shifted, and now we're not raising the children, we're simply relating to the children. And
It's,
now they are carrying their own compass because of what we have instilled in them. Hopefully they grabbed it. And sometimes they don't, and then you have to bring them back, change the compass and reroute things. And so anyway, we want the focus for them to be less on directing and more on respecting them as adults that they have become, with our guidance, hopefully, and their own lessons that they've learned on the way, because that's going to be something completely outside of what we have poured into them, but things that they've experienced in life at that point. And so we have a few perspectives that will help with that for us. And I love being, I call it the consultant rather than the responsible parent. So I'm not responsible for what they do. However, I have an open door policy always, or open phone policy, whatever. They can pick up the phone, call me, text me, come over to my house, and we can chat about anything. I love being the consultant, and so they can consult with me on any matter. It's really liberating for me to feel that role as opposed to the responsible parent, and it's empowering for me to do that. We have curiosity over control, so instead of here's what you should be doing, letting them know what they need to do, or it should change. Our conversation should change to, okay, after you hear their situation. So what do you think about that? What do you think you should do? And get their perspective for what they are thinking. And that is a good reflection of what you have instilled in them, the lessons that you've, poured into them, because then they will take that. That's what helps build what they would do, that muscle memory for, when this situation comes up, this is what I would do. And if they haven't developed that muscle memory, this is a great opportunity for us to suggest things to help them to develop that muscle memory.
Exactly. You know what, Cynthia, just let me interject for 1 second while you're sitting here and you're talking about this. It's make remember, and first of all, I love the way you say that I am the consultant, because Lord knows we become the consultant as soon as they walk out of the house. So
Absolutely.
I never thought about that. But as I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, we are consulting with them because
Mhm.
they come to you. And then just when you think they're not listening, I have not heard you, I'm taking your advice, they show you.
Yes.
So, and when I tell you that is a gratifying feeling, that is so rewarding.
It
Oh,
is.
I heard when you said this, so this is what I did. In the beginning, I did it this way, and it didn't work. So then I thought about what you said and told me how to do it, suggested how you suggest for me to do it. And now this is what's working. And it makes you feel so good, all that hard work that you put in, all that hard work,
Yes.
it always comes back to them. It's always in the back of their mind, and they bring it to the forefront again. So just listening to you, and I'm like, yeah, consultant. I'm a consulting parent.
Yes, and that's like you said, that's the total reward when you can watch them walk through life exercising those strategies
Mhm,
the way that you tried to pour into them, and that lets you know they were listening. And not only did they listen, but they applied, they
mm,
executed with what you told, with what they learned from you. So, and then boundaries from both ways. So we know we need to always expect respect from them. But then we also have to give it right back, honey, because they're adults. And when they are adults, we have to learn how to respect them as adults
mhm,
within a consultation manner, because they're consulting with us, and we can't be talking to them anymore like they're children. We need to definitely uh, treat them as if they're a client and you're consulting with a client, to put them on an adult level, because the roles have to change at that point. But and if you don't have that respect in those, and both in the reciprocal ways going back and forth, it's going to build resentment.
that is
And then, yeah, we want to make sure also that we are supporting, and this is important, guys, supporting them, but not rescuing them. Uh, Being a safety net is totally different from the constant fix it screw. So we can't be the fix it screw. We can't be coming in with our S on our chest with the wrench and all that coming in to fix stuff,
Mhm,
but we can be a safety net to catch them if they fall. We can give them our consulting suggestions, consultation, do that, give them some suggestions. If they don't take those suggestions, and if something goes wrong,
mhm,
then we can be a safety net to catch them if they fall. But they're going to have to mess it up. Because how many times have we learned, and this is the best teacher, the
Mhm.
learn from failures,
That's right.
because sometimes we have to fall and hit our head
That
to
is so.
learn to never do that or to do it a totally different way.
That's right. Life is a teacher. Learning the experiences is a teacher. So when you fail at something, you're you know, okay, well, I did this wrong, so now I know not to do this again. And also, Cynthia, when you're saying to support them and not be that fix it crew, that is great. When you giving those, I this is a method that I use with my children. We flip the situation. So whatever situation is going on with them, they're telling me how they're handling it, why they're handling it that way, the steps that they have taken thus far. Then I flip it to me. If it was me, this is how I would do it. This is why I would do it. So when you flip that thought process, so now it gives them a different way of thinking things through. And then it was a learning experience for me. One time I flipped it and I didn't handle my situation properly. And my children sat with me and said, "No, well, mommy, if I was you, this is how I would have done this. And would have been the outcome. And the outcome would have been greater. And this is why." So it's a learning experience on both ends. It's about learning experience on both ends because we don't ever stop learning as ourselves as adults, right?
No, no, still learning.
Exactly. It's still, so yeah, flip those situations around when you are being that safety net so that way they can see it from your perspective, genuinely from your perspective.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay, so shared adulthood. So we are still the parent. Just keep in mind, we know that we're all still the parent and also the adult in their world. So what we want to do is find common ground, and that's whether we're talking money, politics, family traditions. This helps us meet each other eye to eye. So just share your experiences, just like Val said. We want to find that common ground and then model life ahead. So how we're handling our own relationships, how for them, how we're handling our relationships, our health, their aging is going to teach them as much now as it did when they were kids,
Mhm.
uh, because they're going to learn so much more in their adulthood,
Exactly.
and the consequences and the results of their choices are going to be so much more important because they're going to result in some consequences that could be tragic
Mhm.
or not at the end, not bringing them to the end,
Mhm.
but tragic in that they're going to have things to repair in their lives,
Right.
to get back to common ground.
Mhm. Yes,
Okay.
I agree with all of that, honey. Get back to that common ground. That's the common ground is the common denominator.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So the real angle here is just to remember the relationships matter more than winning in the moment. So when we're parenting our children, we have to think about the relationships
Right.
between them and ourselves and how much more important they are in the relationship is rather it is than us being the winner in the moment, because sometimes they don't want to hear from us
Mhm.
as the authority figure, and it just may rub them the wrong way, like, oh, she's trying to tell me what to do, da, 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 da. And you don't want to damage the relationship, so just give them suggestions and not necessarily having to try to win in the moment all the time, but just I'm here to offer whatever consultation I can, and because the relationship is so fragile and precious.
True. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. And here come back to you. They will come back and ask
Mm-hmm.
you in referencing to what they're confused about. So don't push it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when we're looking at money, okay, so well, let's talk about old habits and new habits, how we need to change. So as far as money is concerned, the old habit is we would step in with lectures, and then when we would see them struggling, we would be coming in and saying, now, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you should have been doing all along. And see, the angle here is to ask if they want your input before offering any suggestions. I always say I don't give, and this is true, and then I've done this all my adult life. I don't give unsolicited advice. And so when someone is telling me, because I've encountered quite a few complainers
Mhm.
in my lifetime,
Mhm.
and these are people who just, no matter what, they just complain about everything in their life. The meal at the restaurant, the house or
Mhm.
their apartment, whatever, is just not good enough. They can't get a better job. Everything is a complaint. The job they have,
Mhm.
and then very seldom will you hear just statements of gratitude for what they do have,
Mhm. Mhm.
but always complaints. So if they want your input, and because if I don't ever, I just listen to them complain. And
Mhm.
then of course those are people that I distance myself from, because I know that's all they're gonna do every time we talk, and I ain't got time for that.
Mhm.
But 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 and I won't until and I'll never and I'm gonna have to tell a little quick story here. I remember a couple of one time with a couple of sister-in-laws ago with my brother-in-law. She came over and she had asked me a question about one of her children, and he was in uh preschool or kindergarten,
Mhm.
and he had gotten thrown out of 5 schools.
Wow.
5 at that point, for being disruptive and, just what they call bad or whatever they were labeled. But anyway, so she said, "What do you think I should do?" She was just complaining. She came over my house, and I said, and I was just listening to her, and I didn't say anything. I was just listening. She said, "What do you think I should do? I just don't know, because 5 schools have put him out, and what do you think I should do?" And I asked her, I said, "Now, I'm going to tell you what I think you should do, but I need to ask you this first. Do you want me to give you my honest opinion? And would you not be upset with me what I say? If you're open to that, then I'll tell you." And she
Mhm.
said, "Yes, please." And I said, "I think you need to consult a therapist and have him examined, and let them talk to him, find out what's going on inside of his head, because something is causing him to act out,
Mhm.
and you probably want to find out what it is." Girl, she blew up. She flipped and started cursing me out in my house. She came over my house and started cursing me out. "You don't tell me what, my child ain't crazy," and then doing the neck and all that. And then I was just looking at her and I said, "Well, let me tell you. You asked me for my advice, and I gave you my opinion, and you said you were going to accept it. Now, what you have to do right now is get up out of my house, because
Mhm.
you ain't coming into my house and
Right.
going to be sitting here acting like this with me." And I opened the door and said, "Please exit." And
Mhm.
we actually didn't speak for a couple of years.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. A lot of people can't take the truth.
Yes. Yes.
They're so accustomed to the world, family, friends, strangers just telling them what they want to hear opposed to what they need to hear. And that is not the way of life. The world is not going to treat you kind. So let's go ahead and embrace that right here at the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrong. And you search for outside opinion. Brace yourself for what you might get.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Cynthia, it's the way that you preference that you asked her, or
I
you
did.
say with what I tell you. You ask, I have to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So you preface and you put it out there. And then also on the other end of that, yeah, it may be hard to hear something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to think that she really thought about it after she calmed down. I would like to think and pray that she did get the help. That
No,
she still didn't
no.
even. Oh wow. So okay.
So all through his life, when I watched him grow up, I mean, he still had issues, anger issues and things like that, and issues in schools and stuff like that.
Mm,
But he's as an adult, he's good now. I do still think that he could really, because I know there's some unresolved issues, just because I know.
right.
Um, but he does need therapy. We all need therapy, child. We all need to have someone just to talk to about things. And so when you have unresolved issues like that are just buried down, and you have questions about why is this, why did this happen, it comes out in different ways,
Mm-hmm.
in your life. And so, yeah.
Look, I may need to talk to somebody.
I think we all do. I think we all do. I think we all could benefit from just talking about, because we all carry a lot of weight, a lot of baggage, not necessarily baggage that we are putting on ourselves,
Mhm.
but I think that all African American people suffer from PTSD, and because of racism.
Mm.
And we carry that because it's something we always have to be aware of. And it just helps to be able to talk, to unpack things, if you will, to with someone that you trust and can talk to,
Okay.
I think. Anywho, but Val, tell us a little bit about holidays. I know.
The holidays. Now, that is something that we really need to discuss when we have our grown children. Because, because I've gone through this recently. So we're accustomed to doing things the way that we did it when we grew up with mommy and daddy and grandma and grandpa. Okay. Things have changed, times have changed, so it's not as traditional. So we want to keep the family together. We want to do some of the same traditions, but it's okay to add a little spice to it. So you want to kind of just look at it from a different angle. So now what I do, and especially because my son has 3 children, I say, what would you like to do during this holiday? So I try to make it more open, more not as generalized. Okay, let's sit down, let's talk about it. I watched him not last year, but the year before. He just got freaking frustrated because he was trying to go to the um the the, the grandparents' house of his son, and then tried to come to my house, and then tried to do things with the fiance, and it was just all over the place. And so now, and then with my daughter traveling a lot, so we don't have that traditional as much as we used to. So I leave it open for them. So we start talking about holidays right after the holiday is over for the next year.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
So on Thanksgiving, we already got a plan, right?
Okay,
Thanksgiving, they would do Thanksgiving with me. Christmas, he would be able to do Thanksgiving with his fiance and their family. Now he's
okay,
worried about going over to 5 different houses. Who can
right.
themselves, right?
Mm-mm.
Who could do that? Christmas, they have the option. They'll be doing Christmas at their own home. You don't have to run around doing all this stuff. Just do Christmas at your own home.
Mm-hmm.
I would do Christmas with my grandkids Christmas Eve. They have
Okay.
Christmas Day. So just let them do those things. And then sometimes he said, well, Mom, sometimes we may travel during the holiday. That's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yep.
necessarily go with my grown kids. I have my own life now.
Yes, that's true now.
In my own um, tradition. So try not to just, bog them down into what you used to do back in the day. It can still be fun. It can still be family oriented, and you can have a good time. And why this works, Cynthia, because it makes space for you to learn new things. The trust,
Absolutely.
seeing how other individuals celebrate their holiday. Um, like I said, having new life partners. He has a fiance. I now have.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kids. Um, let the grandkids do what they want. Choose. It's okay to let them choose. You know,
Yes.
because when you have grandkids, those grandkids have cousins that they may want to see and spend time with. Give them that option. So be as flexible as you can. Flexibility means they'll actually want to continue doing things with you. They'll actually want to continue to come around. But when you try to force it, it does not.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that I used to try to force them. I'm like, okay, well, Mother's Day is only one day out the year. You could go to church with me and go to dinner with me. That's all I want you to do. And I realized I was forcing my grown kids,
Hmm.
whereas they may want to do something else with me, or may wanted to do something with me on that Saturday opposed to that Sunday.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I had to stop and let them tell me what they wanted to do because they have their own lives.
Absolutely.
Make them do anything. We cannot make grown people do anything.
That is so true. That's a word right there. We got to keep that in mind. We cannot make grown people do everything, anything. We cannot. Absolutely. And then for grandkids, because I don't have any grandkids, you do, Val, but one thing, and this would be applicable more so to me at this point, the old habit, but I don't do this. I kind of sometimes I don't drop hints. I don't say anything like this about pressuring, but sometimes I do realize, and had to make myself aware of this and stop making this statement. Well, I don't have any grandchildren yet, and I'll say it like that, and that means, and then look at one of my grandsons. I mean, my sons. But the old habit is dropping those hints or pressuring the children about giving you grandbabies, and of course, I would love to have some grandchildren one day when the day is right.
They'll come with the time.
They'll come in their time, God's time, and their time. But that pressuring is so outdated. That just does not work. The current angle is to celebrate their life choices openly. So if they decide they want to be happily single right now while they're working on maybe their career or whatever, we just have to say to them, I'm proud of the way that you're shaping your life, and just leave it at that, and when the time comes, and don't even have to mention, grandchildren will come in time. Just let that be a given. And why that is going to work, it's going to be the source of guilt if we keep on doing the you're not giving me grandbabies and they pull away, then that's something you were guilty of. You push them away. So that preserves, by us not doing that, that's going to preserve the closeness, whether the grandchildren happen or not, because they may not, and we just have to keep that in mind. They may not happen ever. So if you don't have them, if they decide they just don't want to have children, or they never meet that person that they want to have children with, then they may not happen, but they may not come to be the grandchildren. However, you still have your relationship with your child, so that needs to be preserved.
It's okay if it doesn't happen.
Hmm.
It's a want. We will want it, but let's not
I
pressure.
knew. Hmm.
No.
Yep.
hmm So, honey, and we're talking about those everyday check-ins. Now, Cynthia, I don't know if you guys have ever heard me say this. Um, oh, I talk to my daughter at least 10 times a day, 6 times a day, all this,
Really?
all the time. And people would say, y'all talk that much? I'm like, yeah. Well, it's starting to dwindle down. So now that old habit, I'm expecting the daily calls, the detailed reports, and I'm not getting them like that anymore. So in a minute, for a second, I was in my feelings, but guess what finally registered? This child is for real grown,
Hmm.
living her best life. I would think about that about my son, but he kind of told me, Mom, I'm not going to be calling you every day. And you call me. So he's more like, just put it out there to let me know this. Those old habits have to die. So those everyday are not really needed. They're not necessary. So we want to match the level of contacts. We want to keep them comfortable because here again, just like you said earlier, dropping those little hints can push them away. We don't want to push them away. We know that they're okay. We know that they're safe. We know that they know that we love them. They know that I know that they love me. So now, every now and then, I'll send a quick little funny text or something, a little mean. But what I stopped doing was sending those long paragraphs.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Oh, it's like you. Sometimes we don't even open it because we know it's gonna be something that's da 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 da.
Mhm.
So, but I will say if I preference it with the text with a scripture for the day, they'll
Okay.
send a thumbs up or heart. I'm like, okay, but leave everything else alone. It's something simple. So while that works, that keeps the tie between you warm. It does not wear out. It's still making them feel like you're there, that you love them, that you're still with them, and they're not teenagers, so it doesn't seem like you're making them feel like they're still children.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
shows you where we show them that we do respect them. We know that they're responsible. So it makes them feel like, okay, all right, I got this. I don't have to, she doesn't feel like I don't have it, you know?
Ex
So that's part of allowing them to be responsible on their own. And
Yep, responsible adults.
exactly. So that's what I'm learning, honey. That one was all about me. That everyday check-in, honey, they hit me right in my forehead.
That is so interesting. That is so interesting. And it's interesting because I don't talk to my sons daily. Well, one of them I do. We text daily because we do some work related things together. And then my other son, we can talk
Mm-hmm.
maybe, and it's usually a text.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while he'll call me. But we can talk maybe once every 3, 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's just like it's funny. It's different with relationship.
It
So,
is. It
yeah.
is.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Val.
Mhm.
What is the most valuable lesson that you are or have taught your children about life? And then what about your grandchildren, since you have grandchildren?
Okay. Well, for my children, it is to respect themselves and respect others, and not to run yourself down trying to please people.
Mhm.
Because do not try to be a people pleaser because you can't appease everybody. So go with who you are, what you want, what you believe in, and that's who you are. So show up your authentic self all day, every day, and that's who you are. So if people accept you for that, that's fine. If they don't, that's okay with you. That means they're not meant to be in your life. So I constantly, and they will come back to me and say, "Mama, always remember that." So when people start to stress them, it doesn't last very long because they remember what I've said. And they're exercising that. So that's one of the best things that I feel that I've taught them, and they always bring it back to me. Now,
Mm,
to my grandkids, um, what is the lessons that I'm teaching them? I'm teaching them to love themselves.
okay.
Teaching them,
Super important.
yeah, super important. Love yourself and know the difference between wrong and right. And we do a lot of scenarios. We do
Good.
scenarios. My 10-year-old grandson and I, we just did some scenarios yesterday, um, so that he could tell me if he feels that it's right or wrong, and if why does it feel like that, and then
Oh,
would be
yeah.
amazed at the questions that you just that opens up from that. And
Yeah.
as my 10-year-old, of course, has tons of questions, and I will sit and answer everyone. If he has 1,000, I will not move until I answer 1,000. So, so the best thing is to love yourself and know the difference between wrong and right, because the world is it's so weird right now. I'll use that term. It's so weird now, and you sometimes you may get confused at what's wrong and what's right. So
That is so foundational, Val.
yeah, so it's telling them, just instead of just telling them don't do that, tell them why. And I don't know, like I want to go back to this really quickly. When I was little and did something wrong and we got in trouble, our parents would say, you're getting this. You don't tell you why you're getting the spanking. They didn't
Right.
tell you why you can't always because I said so. And
Mhm.
the phrase forever where they're like, I don't have to tell you because I'm the parent. Well, I really think that you need to because how
Right.
I'm going to understand how to move forward from that. So they will say, I don't have to explain to my kids. No, 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 no. You really need to. You need to explain to them why, so
Absolutely.
it doesn't transpire again. So explain what's going on when I'm having conversation with any of my grandkids, the 10-year-old, the 6-year-old, and the 2-year-old. I like to explain. So then that way that's gonna stay in the forefront of their brain and it
Absolutely.
won't happen again, you know?
That is key. That is so key. And yeah, and my dad did that too. He didn't explain anything. But and the thing is, we know better. We when we know better, we do better. Hopefully we do. And so we know that we do. And I have always explained, and my oldest son, he had 10 million, billion, trillion questions about everything. But every time he had a question, and I never had an expression on my face that looked like I didn't want to answer. I answered everyone just like you, because we want them to know that they can ask questions in life. They can be heard.
Mhm,
They need to get every bit of knowledge that they don't understand, and they are questioning. And
mhm.
so they should get that answered. So that's good. That is very good. So I answer those questions too. And when I look back on what I lacked in my life,
Mhm.
I lacked guidance from a mother figure because my mother died when I was 5. So I didn't have a mother in the household. I really didn't know what it looked like to be have a mother figure in the house. I was raised by my dad. The three of us were raised by my dad. So what daddy did the best he knew how. I'll put it that way. And so what he didn't do though, and he probably just didn't know to do this, he didn't give me any guidance. He didn't guide me and tell me I needed to go to college.
Right.
After high school, when I was in senior in high school, I just said, "Oh, I'm going to college." So I just started applying for colleges.
Mhm,
But never did we have a conversation about any of it. And then career, never guiding me on my career or any kind of moves I should make, or give me any kind of financial guidance, about finances, or even how to open a checking account, anything like that. And maybe because he didn't know, I'm not sure, but I didn't get that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff I've had to put together myself, and learn on the way. And those are from some of the mistakes I learned
mhm.
in
Yeah.
life, things I didn't do right, things I did right, and or maybe got almost right and had to go back and fix, and stuff like that. So I just had to piecemeal it together.
Mhm,
And so I've tried to guide my son better because I know better on options for higher education. When they got ready to graduate high school, I started talking about college with both of them, or if not college, maybe tech school or whatever it is. If you want to go to military, whatever it is. But from afar now, as an adult, being a consultant in their life.
mhm,
I still try to give guidance for career options. I never stop doing that because I do that with some of my friends that are my age.
mhm.
And then coaching on networking. I'm
That's
always networking, putting people together with jobs,
mhm,
because I love that. That's an invaluable skill that we can have, networking. And then the value of celebrating accomplishments. I do this with my sons all the time. Anytime one of them accomplishes something great, whether it be a job, a certification, whatever it is, I try to let us celebrate as a group
mhm,
um, that accomplishment because they
mhm.
need to celebrate themselves for
Yeah.
all of their accomplishments. And then I stress that they should always pass these things on that we are doing
Mhm,
to their families once that they have the grandkids. I can say it here.
mhm.
Them grandkids. No, I'm kidding. But once we do have grandkids, pass them on to your families. And then I just love that I can use my experience to guide my sons
Mhm.
just to do better financially and health wise so that they're better in a position to succeed, be successful in life. And I'm excited about that.
Exactly. And just I want to say one thing, Cynthia, here. My son just turned 36 on Friday. And I told him, and we always have this conversation. I said, "Man, we grew up together." I said, "I made so many mistakes because I had you so young, and I look at you now, and I'm like, man." And he said, "Mom," he said, "I watched you go. I watched you grow. I watched mistakes that you made, and I watched how you turned around and made them better." And he said, "So I picked up all the good so that I will be good." And he said, "I watch you maneuver." That's his word. And he said, "My friends," he has friends from when he was in first grade that they're still real good friends. And he says, "My friends always say, man, you got a great mom. She knows so much. She does so much." And they will call and ask questions. Even now as adults, they will call and ask me things. And he said, "So I learned how to maneuver through life by watching you." Once again, a gratifying moment. And
That's priceless.
is that he decided he took all that I did wrong and turned it around to make it right. And then looked at all the things that I did right and still kept going. Girl, when I tell you talking about a happy feeling,
Mhm. I can imagine, Val. That is priceless. Oh my God. That's all you need to hear.
that's
That's
all.
all you need to hear.
That's it.
Done. Drop the mic. Okay. So Val, give us a word, honey.
Girl. So our word for today is, God, please continue to show us how good it can get. Because he's shown us that it's good. He's shown us that it can be better. And he's shown us that it can be the best. So please continue to show us how good it can get.
Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that word. Okay, y'all, I have this independent media sites up on the screen. Y'all can take a picture of it and visit those sites, please, to get your news. These people are delivering the actual news, not what the government wants us to know, but what is actually happening. So if you listen to any of these or all of these, you'll be well informed. Also, call your senators. Let them know things aren't going right, especially with this gerrymandering. It's not good. It's not good for us to be doing this. And so let me go ahead and stop this share and tell y'all, please don't forget. We love that you came here with us to Coffee Chats Unfiltered. But please like, subscribe, and share. And yes, and we will see y'all next week. Have a great week, guys. Bye.
Bye bye.